Is there such a thing as owning too many motorcycles? Welcome back, Anonymous Biker USA. Hit that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button. Let's talk all things moto. So in the intro, we said, is there such a thing as owning too many motorcycles? Everybody just screamed, no! Well, let's talk about that. Those of you who have been to the channel, you know I have multiple machines. Those of you new, in the garage is a 2005 Triumph Daytona 650, 2017 Indian Scout, 2021 Honda Goldwing DCT, and this that we're on now, the 2023 Royal Enfield Himalayan. Now, those of you who are into the moto world are all saying, I see no problem with that. You can probably fit another one. And you're right. Maybe I will. But for the intents and purposes of this discussion, you can only ride one at a time. So those of you who do own multiple bikes and are fortunate enough to do so, do you ever feel like, oh man, I gotta take that one for a ride? It hasn't been ridden in a little while, or I ride this one too much, I don't ride that one enough. And then, you know, you got maintenance on X amount of bikes times whatever, blah 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 blah, insurance on X amount of bikes times whatever. Or, you know, do you let your insurance go dormant if you're in the colder states to where you put a freeze on it? If you ride year round, I mean, how do you do it? So for my intents and purposes, my 4 bikes are one of each category, right? Sport bike, midsize, ADV / off-road, and touring. Now we each understand why we would have those. So what do you have, and what do you think? And if you had to boil it down and just have one bike, you know, what would that be? So for me, I find that I take this ADV bike out once or twice a month because it's a super specific purpose, and when I'm on this, I'm literally riding to the dirt trails and I'm spending all day on those and then coming back home. Rarely will I just take this out to putz around on the back roads. It's just not what I got it for. So this is a very niche bike with a very specific purpose. The Triumph Daytona, the sport bike, everybody knows who's ridden those. After about an hour, you had enough. Unless you do track days, and then you specifically have it for track days. The Goldwing, great for the long day trips or the overnights, and obviously the touring. And then the midsize, the Scout, a little bit of everything. You can do the touring, but it's a lot more fun for your 2 to 4 hour days, just ripping around and enjoying the day. So multiple viewers who watch this channel have several bikes. You know, if you all watch Bodine 52, he's got the Road King, the Road Glide, and the KLR, and I can see each of those bikes has its purpose. He could make the Road King into a touring bike if he wanted, but he's keeping it the classic old school stripped down style look, and I get that. That's why he has the Road Glide, right? So how about all you other multiple bike owners? What say you? Is 2 bikes the sweet spot? Maybe like if you're into off-roading, 1 ADV bike and then 1 kind of multi-purpose touring / midsize, like the Harley Heritage or a Road King standard. Or it doesn't matter. Hey, the more the merrier, as many as you can get. Just keep the battery charged on a trickle charger and ride them when you can. Do you ever feel guilty that you don't ride one enough? I don't know. I know, like for the Himalayan, I have to plan that out specifically and make a clear intention of where I'm going that day for that ride. So, you know, the Scout and the Goldwing, I can just jump on that and go, because every road right out of my garage is rideable, and that's the intent and purpose of those bikes. Not that I can't do that on a Himalayan, but as I've stated, not what I got this bike for at all. Red light. Now let's back it up even further. You know, I could see two bikes, you know, a touring bike and then a smaller bike that you just want to have fun on. That seems to be the majority of people. Totally understandable. And two bikes is very easy to ride because, you know, if you're most of us, you work full time, you can ride on the weekends. You can take one out Saturday, one out Sunday, easy peasy, right? You can surely get them both out. Ooh, it's getting hot. Multiple times in a month. Now, if you're retired, obviously you have a lot more time. Or maybe you are able to sneak out during the week for an hour or so after work or lunchtime, depending on what kind of job you do, who knows. But for argument's sake, most riding is done on the weekends. So I find that the Himalayan gets the least bit of riding because of the specific intent, and the Goldwing and the Scout, I split those equidistant. The Goldwing and the Scout, I split equally, and the Triumph, the Daytona, you know, obviously that is not running right now. If it was, I would rip that out on probably once a month on a Saturday, just do some 45 minutes of fun and take it back home. So that probably will get back on the road at some point. So if you had two bikes to choose, what category would they be? How often would you ride them? Or you can drill it down. If you ride street and dirt and you only had one that you could ride or pick, what would that be? When you think about it, in that case, you got to get an all-rounder, right? Like the BMW GS or a KTM. I mean, obviously you can make the Royal Enfield an all-rounder, but it doesn't have enough get up and go to do that. That makes logical sense. I would probably have to go with the BMW GS 1250 because it's best of both worlds. You can tour on it all over, great on the road, great on the dirt. So obviously here I am on the Enfield and I'm on my way up to dirt trail. So closest dirt trail to me that I like to ride is about 45 minutes, and then I have some others that it's a good 2 hours to get there. A couple hours on the trail, a couple hours home. So the Enfield is definitely a full day excursion. You all could share it in the comments below if you have multiple bikes, what your thoughts are behind the process. If you don't have multiple bikes, maybe that's why you don't have multiple bikes, or never really had the opportunity to have multiple bikes, which I get that too. Not complaining about having multiple bikes, like I said, super fortunate to be in that position. Or maybe you don't even want multiple bikes. I can only ride one, right? One butt, one seat. And then some of you obviously have the touring bike because you do a lot of two-up, and that makes sense as well. And then you don't want to ride and lug that big thing around when you're riding solo. So, just a short topic. As I went out to the garage today, I saw the bikes and I was like, do I have too many bikes? Thanks for watching. Don't forget,